morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the morning show on Stock Market TV. You got me, you got JC, you got Steve, Alfonso, Rick, all in the house with you this morning. A lot going on. It's the biggest day of the earnings season, as if some people care. I do care, actually. We got Apple tonight, Amazon tonight, Meta, Microsoft, Google last night. Much to discuss. We have a Trump and a Xi thing going on, or I guess it's over now, but a lot to discuss today. Busy day on the channel as well. After we're done here with the morning show, JC and Steve will do some live trading. And then we have Kenny, and then we have, oh my gosh, we have Sean doing a thing today. We have Jeff. No, not Jeff. We have Kenny going live again. We have Louie doing a thing this afternoon with JC. Oh, man, so much to do. Not enough time to do it in. So if you're watching us on YouTube, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. It does help us in the eyes of the mysterious algorithm. Okay, let's start the show. You ready? I'm ready.
All right, we are back. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
All right, so we love picking on the liberals because they've helped us make so much money this year. Remember when 90% of liberals were bearish of the stock market back in June? And so we had some of the best 6 months ever after that. So thank you guys for being so angry. And then what's that putz? Tim Wallace, the guy from Minnesota?
Close enough.
What a loser. So he's up there dancing on stage, shaking his little ass about how Tesla stock is going down. Since then, Tesla stock has doubled. So we thank you for your service, sir. Fucking love that guy. And then now we dish it both ways, right? Throw up DeSantis. You see DeSantis, Mr. Market Breath guy now all of a sudden? See? We dish it both ways. DeSantis is not one of these.
What did he say?
Right?
What did he say?
See that? He's a breath guy now.
He's right. He's right. Todd Stone would agree.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's get this audio going.
There we go. Maybe sounds a little better.
Wow. This is an interesting tweet. I don't know, Spencer. I don't really have anything.
Is it the Mag 7 economy, the Mag 7 market, or am I just splitting hairs? I could just be splitting hairs.
This is a political move, right? Because the real economy, the economy for most people, is not like the economy for large cap tech stocks. So,
how do we feel about this? Is this contrarian?
Oh, it's a little better.
No.
Is it contrarian?
This is a political thing?
Yeah.
Why? Because these big tech companies are like Democrats, or no? Not really, right?
No, he's just pointing out that the economy is not as good for everybody.
Is that what it is?
I'm actually not sure the point he's trying to make, but I don't really care.
I don't either. I don't know why he's making this about the market. I don't know how,
I take this as somebody who's an observer. As somebody who's an observer of the of markets and market participants, I see this as a politician chiming in on something he doesn't know about, and therefore we probably want to take the other side, right? No difference than Tim Wallace or
well, he's opining on a fact, to be clear. Like that happened, and he's saying, wow, it's never been so skewed.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, 65% of the New York Stock Exchange is above the 200-day moving average, which is like standard for bull markets. The Russell 3000 index closed at an all-time high on Tuesday. The Russell 2000 small caps closed at a new all-time high on Monday.
Well, look, here's the truth. Mega cap growth stocks have been leading the way again. Mag 7 stocks have been the best.
By the way, for the record, it's not just mega cap tech. Hold on.
Breadth has deteriorated all summer.
Stop. It's not mega cap tech that's leading. It's tech that's leading. Small cap tech, mid cap. What do you mean?
Do a ratio
small cap
chart
tech
of
is by far and away the best sector in all of small caps.
Look at the chart, dude.
New all-time high, small cap tech.
Okay, look at mags versus small cap tech.
what you're not understanding, it's not a Mag 7 story. It's a tech story. And when you go back and look at every bull market ever, technology is a leader in almost all of them. Why is it so strange that they're leaders this time too? Like, that's perfectly normal. I don't understand why people get so mad at tech leading in a bull market when tech almost always leads in every bull market, number one. Number two, tech underperformed for 3 straight quarters. Tech, on a relative basis, peaked last summer. And it wasn't until Q2 this year that they finally came back. So this is a new phenomenon after 3 quarters of digesting of gains. Notice how nobody was talking about this Mag 7 leadership in January because they were underperforming everything.
Tech just broke out. Just happened. You're right. Happened last month.
I mean, I don't understand why people think this is so strange. Small cap tech, for the record, closed at an all-time high yesterday.
Because we've never seen companies get this big before.
So what?
Okay.
I just think their heads explode because they can't fucking take it that this company's so big. So then take all of those companies out of the equation. Take them all out of the equation. The S&P 500 is still at all-time highs.
I don't think Ron DeSantis was really getting into it like this. I don't think he's mad at all.
I'm with you, Steve.
Do you think Ron DeSantis is
throwing something out there? Probably supposed to do
His
certain
name is
amounts of
Ron?
tweets a day. He probably had to get one out. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Oh, his name is Ron. I didn't realize. It just sounds so weird calling him Ron. Ron DeSantis. I wouldn't have guessed that was his name.
Okay.
Ron? He doesn't.
JC never knows anyone's first name.
Florida man in the world, JC Parets.
JC can get half of your name correct. He'll get the first or the last, but not both. Never both.
He's never.
I have a friend, Spencer, named Kevin Spencer, and a lot of times I get that confused when I'm talking to you, and I think Kevin Spencer, and then Spencer Israel.
Yeah.
Shout out to KT Spence. That's the homie from college.
Riverboat Ron.
Shout out Fairfield Stags. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. How about Barron's? So we got the journalists are telling your parents to go to get defensive. Time to go on the defensive in this market is what the journalists are telling your parents. Go look.
Yeah, I'm going to read that. I know.
What do you think about that?
Everybody's circulating. It's probably nothing. It's Barron's. It's probably nothing.
Yeah. So that's good. So in case you're wondering what they're telling your parents to do in the middle of a bull market, is to go defensive. That's a great idea historically.
I've been doing it. I've been doing it with the health cares. A lot of us have been doing it.
Healthcares are healthcare. These are consumer defensive. See the two differences? We're not talking about healthcare.
What's the article about?
I'm guessing.
Don't you see the fucking Coca-Cola right in the front? What do you mean?
Yeah, but Staples isn't the only defensive sector. Maybe they're giving some up to healthcare.
They are literally called consumer defensives. That's what this article's about. You see,
consumer staples.
To do with healthcare.
Called consumer staples.
Yeah, staples. And all right, so that's what I got. I thought those were just a couple of interesting sentiment tidbits, just trying to bring some value to the table. Little alpha from my observations.
I'm interested in the Barron's article. Wow,
Spencer likes it that I'm hating on the Republicans now, not just
always. No. I actually, what I was going to say is, I don't think there's any outlet that I've seen that constantly writes on both sides of the market more than Barron's does. Right? They will write just as many bullish articles as bearish, right? All the time. That's okay, by the way. I'm not criticizing it. It's just kind of the way that's kind of what I've seen. Granted, it's been a while since I've read them consistently, but when I was reading them on a weekly basis, that's what I was seeing is they do a lot of buy, to sell, buy, sell. You know, it's kind of how it goes. All right, let's do some state of the markets.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Dow down 1/3% this morning, 170 points, 47,625. We got S&Ps down 1/3%, 6,900, down 24 points there. We got the NASDAQ 100 leading the way lower, down 0.5%. A lot of big earnings stuff last night. 26,120 for the NASDAQ 100, down 140 points right now. You got Treasury bonds down 0.2%, down to 117.5 for the 30-year. Crude oil down almost a full percent, back under 60, slightly under 60 for crude oil. Copper down 2.5%, 513 for copper. Gold pretty much flat this morning, just under 4,000. Silver down 1/3%, 47.80 with the VIX above 16. VIX above 16. down slightly on the day. Bitcoin down 1,300 points today. 108,700. Just can't get a bid on Bitcoin. Nothing sticks, at least not yet. Ethereum back under 4,000, 38.27, down another 1.5% today. Over in Solana, you got Solana back under 200, 187 for Solana, down 3% on the day. Total crypto market cap, Spencer Israel, that brings it down to 3.63 trillion, which would 3.63 down from 4.26. So down about $750 billion from the highs. It's not nothing.
No, they're look like they're rolling over again. These things
Every time.
not looking good. Jesus, the banks, biotechs, builders, Bitcoin. I'm sorry, not biotechs. Biotechs look good. Banks, builders, Bitcoin. Yeesh.
You know, I was asking the question a couple of weeks ago whether or not biotechs are some kind of defensive. There's some sort of defensiveness in biotech, or is it just risk on? And I still wonder. I think about that. You think there's anything to that?
Why would they be defensive? These are some of the longest duration equities known to man.
No, that's a good point. No, that's true. That's a good point.
Zero defense would be my. I couldn't think of many groups that are less defensive. Actually, I think biotech would be at the top of the list of the single most risk on group.
Yeah, huh?
Nothing defensive about it. They need money. Broke ass companies.
They're super broke ass companies, right? All they do is borrow money. That's why. So when interest rates go down, they like that.
They're built to be bought.
They're built to be bought. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Here, throw up slide 2. We got somebody in the chat asking about. Let's see. Someone in the chat asking about the Bitcoin dominance.
Great American governor.
Which one?
Just reading the chat.
Dude, I was watching a documentary about Bill Clinton. He was the man, good looking. Hillary, Hillary was kind of hot back in the day.
You keep saying this, and
I got
weird?
nothing. I think it's weird. I think it's weird that I go and watch old videos of Hillary Clinton. I'm like, all right, Bill, I see you, dog.
No, because I too think Bill Clinton is awesome.
He was always like a hardcore feminist, which I guess I didn't realize. I was too young back then. I didn't.
Bill was big liberal. Yeah. Ladies' man, really.
Dude, Bill had mistresses and girlfriends all over the place, dude. This guy was amazing.
Yeah. But he was a good president too. But that
I don't know anything about that, but man, and these guys. I mean, there were women coming out left and right. I mean, Bill just couldn't stop.
Harminder says, I love how Grant's note destroyed all the breath BS. That's right. Sign up for the Daily Number. You don't have to get your breath analysis from a great American governor, Ron DeSantis. You can get your breath analysis from a great Australian quant, Grant Hawkridge. That's what you should be doing.
That's right. All right, so here's the somebody was asking about the Bitcoin dominance. Who's asking about Bitcoin dominance? Brad was asking about Bitcoin dominance.
All right, 60%. What's it mean to you? It's peaked forever.
I've been in the camp that was the top. I have no idea what's going to happen, obviously. But if we're going to have a bull market in crypto and you're going to get that rotation and Ethereum's going to eat into that and Solana's going to eat into that, then you've seen the highs for Bitcoin dominance, maybe forever. That was what that's, for the last 4 or 5 months, since New Orleans, since right around New Orleans. When did we go to New Orleans? In May? Since then, I've been kind of that was it. And then so far that has proven to be true. I think these channels are pretty clean. We're below those channels. I mean, another rollover here would really confirm that that's probably the case. And we've seen the highs, at least for now and maybe forever. That's how I think about it. So that's what it means to me. What does it mean to you? Nothing?
It means other coins are going to have to start working well. if your call is going to be right.
Binance, Solana, Ethereum, obviously. Ethereum's the biggest one. So this is an ETH BTC ratio at the end of the day, still.
Solana and Binance matter a lot. Ripple matters. Look, they can all make dents in this, but they got to do better, I think.
It's an Ethereum. It's an Ethereum situation. That's all it is. Right now.
Really, JC, that's wrong. Because that's like saying that the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100 is an NVIDIA situation. Yes, it's a lot
that's not
of
what
Ethereum.
I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that at all. I don't know why you're putting words in my mouth.
Solana and Ripple and Binance have large enough market values that they could definitely put a dent in this.
No, they definitely don't. Have you done the math?
disagree.
Have you bothered to count? Binance is 150, Ripple's 150, Solana's 100,
Right.
Ethereum's 460. So
Yes.
Ethereum is bigger than all of them combined.
Yeah.
So and if you overlay a BTC dominance chart over BTC ETH,
Dude,
the charts look exactly the same, as they should. So I think you're right. I think you're gonna be right. I think one day Solana and Binance and Ripple will eat into it. I think that one day. But today is not that day. Today, the Bitcoin dominance chart is a BTC ETH ratio.
I disagree.
Sorry.
These things, they move so hard. We saw Ethereum up 100% in a matter of weeks earlier this year. That's going to put a dent in this ratio. It's like saying Palantir doesn't impact the S&P 500.
No, my point is that, you know, Bitcoin. So think about it like this: what you're saying doesn't make it's one has nothing to do with the other, because you're talking about Nvidia. Bitcoin is 60% of all of crypto. Okay, 60% of all of crypto. And then you've got the ETH. What's ETH right now? What's the ETH dominance? 13, 11, something like that. Let's see.
I don't know.
12.7. Pretty good, right? See that? It's about 13%. You know, so it would be the equivalent of two companies being 75% of the entire stock market, which is not the case, right? So comparing these to Nvidia or Palantir makes no sense.
How does answering this question help us make money? Would be my question.
How does answering the question of what this means help us make money?
No, if this is a peak or something for Bitcoin dominance. I don't know how it helps me make money. So I don't think about it.
Ethereum's going to work. CryptoPunks are going to work.
They're not working that well. This ratio's been down. And none of those things have been working that well.
That's not true. They have not been working since this ratio bottomed. That's when they stopped working. You see?
When did this peak? When's this peak here that I'm looking at in the channel? What is that, like July?
It was right after
May, June?
It was right after New Orleans. Remember? Because in New Orleans, I thought it had already peaked, and then it peaked a week later. This was
all of these
June.
things, all these things you're talking about have been sideways.
So mid-June, it peaked, and then they bottomed. This bottomed 6 weeks ago.
Well,
and 6 weeks ago is things stopped really working. You know, so
I'm just not seeing much. I'm just not seeing much that I like in crypto.
All right,
these things suck right now. So
all right, throw
like
up the discretionary staples, new all-time highs.
Discretionary also failing its breakout.
So this ratio here has a lot to do with staples failing more so than discretionaries breaking out. Throw that up.
Yeah, great point, JC. Interesting to see how well the risk appetite ratios did yesterday when the tape was absolute trash and everything got pretty much hit.
But a lot of that is because staples got crushed.
Yeah, I guess if you got staples in your risk ratio, that's going to look pretty good. I don't know why. It's very well. I guess bonds got hit too.
Why don't people want consumer staples, Strazza, in the middle of a bull market? Do you really need me to answer that?
I think it was an interest rate move yesterday. Look at the bond market.
Historically, have they wanted consumer staples in bull markets, or have they wanted technology?
No, they typically don't want consumer staples, healthcare, utilities.
Throw up the staples chart. So that's consumer discretionary relative to consumer staples making new all-time highs, which is consistent with a bull market, obviously, if you've gone back and looked. And then here you're looking at consumer staples. So obviously that ratio is going to look great because the denominator is getting fucking smoked. And then so here's the consumer staples.
Yeah.
All right. Did you look on a relative basis? Is this a new all-time low on a relative basis? Has to be, right?
For the staples?
Yep. All-time low for consumer staples relative to S&Ps yesterday.
It is. Looks awful. That ratio. What a joke, man.
So none of that is bearish, guys. Like, is this going to be the first time ever that it's bearish? I suppose it could be. I'm open-minded to it, but is that the bet that we want to make?
Oh, we're going to look at some bearish charts when JC and I come on for the open bar after this. We'll save the bearish charts for that. We'll do them live. I got a big list we could run through.
What's the most bearish chart you got?
Home builders.
Home builders. That's a good one.
I would say banks. I would say regional banks, but God, they're just like, fuck the banks at this point. Forget the banks.
Because home builders are so much more important than regional banks, is what you're saying?
I think so. I think so. We were actually laughing at the happy hour, my real estate friends, about how regional banks don't do anything anymore. Can't get any money from them anyway.
Yeah, they suck.
I had to call my bank yesterday because they weren't like letting a payment go through. I'm like, dude, can I use my money? And he's like, actually, no, because you answered a question wrong. You have to go into a branch. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to a branch. I'm on the phone with this
You
guy for like
answered a
20 minutes.
question wrong?
Yeah, I like answered some like trivia question wrong about my account. And so he's like, yeah, you're locked out now. And I'm like, can you tell me why? He's like, no, I don't have to tell you anything.
Oh my God.
Regional
Throw up slide 2. Throw up slide 2, and then we'll go to Kenny.
I was 200% long, but I pretty much have no margin exposure now.
There it is.
200%
level
long. Come on, Mark. 200%. Come on, Mark. Come on with 200. You could do better than that in a bull market, Mark.
Is this what you see in bull markets, or is this what you see in bear markets, Strazza?
Definitely bulls. Definitely the bulls. Definitely the bulls.
All right.
But these big groups got to dig in, right? I know that there are some bearish charts out there. We could talk about them live on the open bar, but I didn't hear any mention of financials in this conversation.
Right? We can talk about financials. European banks continue to look great.
Financials on the brink of a breakdown. European
on the brink of a breakdown, with European banks continuing to rev, huh?
Some wild action this morning in the EUFN. Woo! I don't know.
G's looking pretty good still. All right. All right, let's go intraday. Let's see what Kenny's looking at. A lot of things on the move. Let's do it.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Kenny Glick in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. Hold me. Something strange is going on right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. There's red on the screen. I'm not too sure how to interpret it.
You could change the settings so that if it's red, you could just turn it green. You can do that, right?
I need to confuse myself even more. Yeah.
That's right. So a lot of things on the move this morning, Kenny. Let's get right into it. What, which of all of the things moving interests you the most?
Well, I'll have to admit it's the Qs, because pretty much, you got 3 of the top stocks in the Qs reported. So Microsoft, Google, and Meta. So surprisingly, we just started selling off. Let me get my chart up. But when the big guys report all collectively like this, I generally stick with the Qs because it's the easy answer. Plus, they have the daily options, which is the best part about trading the Qs. And I think I just lost you. Hold on. Oh, there we are. Yeah, but there, like you said, there's so much to choose from. And I'll show you something fun. Again, yeah. Last night, we had with all the earnings reports, right? You guys remember CMB, Cash Money Brothers, New Jack City? No, nothing. Yeah. CMBM, right? This one from yesterday in the afternoon, right? It all starts with a faux show, bro. I'm just pointing this one out because there's a million other things.
I am my brother's keeper.
Yes, there you go. CMB. So you got this stock was a pump and dump in the morning, and it just didn't do anything. And again, when they're active in the pre-market, I tend to keep an eye on them just in case. And then we got the little faux show bro action. It started so innocently down here at $2, but that's what's the catalyst is a little kiss back on the VWAP from on top. Take care, and we're out of here. And the stock went from $2 up to $7, and then fast forward to today, it's back in play. Probably going to be a dumper, but this is how we find these stocks. They come up on my scanner, high volume percentage gainer, and then we just trade them around the VWAP. And again, we've been talking some futures lately because we got some players in the room trading futures right now, kicking ass. Futures trading with VWAP is phenomenal. It's a very clean break. You usually get paid.
So you're still using. So hold on. So if you're not trading futures, Kenny, you're still personally looking at the futures contract for the chart, and then you're trading the Qs on the common or on the options, but you're not trading the futures, but you can. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if it's an overnight, I'm usually going futures. So I'm going NQ futures. So it's still basically the Qs. So here's your futures chart from last night.
So you're getting more leverage.
Yeah. I mean, one contract is basically all you need. You know, a 100-point move now is almost like standard. One contract, 100 points, that's $2,000. It's nice to wake up, you know, when you come in a short. Like the other day, I got lucky where I forgot to put a stop on, which is insane. And I was short one contract, and I walked in, and it was down 100 points. Woo, thank you. So that never really happens to me too often. I had that one, and kind of similar right here. So again, your standard procedure, it's always the same chart. That's what's fantastic about the way we trade with VWAP and prior day VWAP. Blue line, orange line. So blue line, orange line usually finds some buyers, and then you bounce off the orange. But if you break through the prior day, you got yourself a sell-off. And again, it probably won't last, but this is a pretty damn good trade so far, and it corresponds to the QQQ, obviously, this morning. So here's that same chart if you're trading the futures. But once we wake up, you know, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't trade futures anymore. And then I go right to the Qs. And, you know, right now, we're doing something we haven't seen in a long time. We got a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal on the Qs. So if you're ever going to short something in a market that really doesn't go down too much, there's your reason. And still, we're above yesterday's lows. So they had that little tiny sell-off where he said that we might not lower interest rates again, which I still don't understand why we're lowering interest rates, but that's not a conversation we need to have here. But I have to assume we're going to go test yesterday's lows. If we break yesterday's lows, it'll be the first time in about 2 weeks, maybe 3, that we've actually broke a prior day low. That's how bullish this market's been. So I'm riveted to this action right now. And on the flip side, you know, you're just looking at the metas. If you want to stay individual names, they're all doing basically the same thing. The meta, but the Goog, right? The Goog is brand new because the Goog is breaking VWAP right now for the first time in the morning. Now, if you're going to short it, be careful because this is the strong one. So right there, you got your classic, you know, little head and shoulders, and there's your VWAP.
The strongest one so far.
Right. So we're just looking for a little pullback. And if you break pre-market pivots, then you'll have some more selling right down to where that 4 a.m. spot was. And again, that's your trade right there. So I'm looking at a Goog short. Merck has been on the radar today. Nobody ever trades Merck. And we were explaining the difficulties of trading pre-market, and somebody just experienced it. You know, here's your faux show, bro. You're buying the VWAP break, but it was on so low volume that as soon as some volume came back in on the downside, it gave back that whole move. You're generally not going to see that in the regular session, friends, because there'll be more volume. But pre-market, you know, something like Merck on 200,000 shares, you're making money, and you blink, it's gone. So I still got Merck on the radar. We're looking at Eli Lilly today, you know, big gap up, VWAP break. The shorters are getting paid a little bit right here. And guys, remember, I'm usually shorting the gapped up stocks, buying the ones that are gapped down after that chart pattern shows up. So much to choose from. But right now, riveted to the Qs. We're going to see if we test yesterday's lows. And yeah, that's my story.
This Novo Nordisk is rolling over also, kind of bigger picture. So looking at Lilly's held in there so much better than Novo. So that's
and you also have a takeover bid going on in Novo.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to take somebody over this.
Oh, got it. So that's putting pressure on it.
Yeah, you also got some old school. I mean, we're going real old school. Here's Philip Morris, or I don't know what you call it now, Altria.
Well, there's 2 of them. There's Philip Morris, and then there's Altria.
Oh, right. They did.
So Philip Morris is Philip Morris International, which is what? Is it PM?
Oh, right, PHM, right.
Yeah, Philip Morris International, and then Altria Group is Mo.
Right. Well, here's a unique one. So, you know, generally I'm looking to buy these stocks when they're gapped down on earnings, but this is what we call the finger of God. If you break VWAP and then roll through it, and then you break those recent lows, it's basically the opposite of the faux show, bro. And this one obviously has been, you know, getting slammed again this morning. But like I said, the list is so long. That's why instead of trading the big guys, I'm looking at the Qs. You know, I'll take a look at Starbucks. You know, I don't know if you guys are fans of Starbucks or whatnot, but
I think they just burn the coffee too much.
You know what? I've gotten used to it because I drink black coffee anyway. So I've actually got to like Starbucks.
We're a
little bit more.
Dunkin' family.
Yeah, it's too sweet for me now.
My wife likes Dunkin', and I like to pick my battles. So, like, I'm not bougie when it comes to my coffee. I like the gas station coffee personally. I don't really give a damn. No, seriously. Like,
I can drink anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
I
I'm
was
more
drinking
bougie on the wine.
Black Rifle coffee because they have it at my gun store. So I buy some weapons and some bullets. Oh, I'm gonna get some coffee too. So yeah, it was always good. But
I like how you have a gun store.
Who doesn't have a gun store in the neighborhood? Come on, man.
I don't know where to find a gun store. I mean,
right, well, come over. I'll bring you. We'll go shopping together.
I don't know that. I don't know. I'd be a little bit nervous. I don't know that I want to be hanging around with you like that. Maybe we'll see. We'll go shooting. I'm down for that.
I have OCD. I'm the most responsible gun owner in the world.
I want to go skeet shooting. Like I want to go. What is
I'll
it?
take you whenever you
what
want.
Do you say? What do you say?
Whenever you want. But here, let me just show you one more thing. This is the Starbucks. Again, this is a typical hit the bid trade. So getting slammed on the earnings, tries to make a move, and there's your little faux show bro action, back above VWAP, and you got yourself 2-point trade. So big fan right now of this one. So if this consolidates above VWAP and he breaks back over that 83 area, interesting. So, but again, a lot of different things going on, a lot of dynamics going on right here with the Qs. But the one takeaway you got to remember, friends, as a shorter that's been punished over and over and over again every year, UVXY is not even green yet. So I don't trust any sell-off.
Because the VIX is down.
Yeah. I don't trust any sell-off if UVXY is not going higher. But UVXY above 11 today, oh boy, we might actually stay down. And it might be a downtrend that lasts for more than like an hour or two. So keep an eye on UVXY. If this thing starts to rally, especially above 11, then we're actually going to have a market that stays red today. I know, crazy, nuts. But you want to see nuts? This picture. Look what I found in my drawer. That's me.
Zoom in on that. Zoom in on that, guys. Take me off the screen. Zoom in. Hold on.
Look at that handsome devil. That I don't think I've had hair that long since that day.
Dude,
I actually got it done. That was my prom, and then she went gay afterwards. So yeah, she's a gay doctor now. Not there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just saying both my prom dates went gay after I got done with the
You
prom.
definitely had nothing to do with that, I'm sure.
No, yeah, I have that magic touch.
Kenny, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Kenny will be live at 11 and live this afternoon to talk about Apple and Amazon as they report.
Oh, that's right. Cheers, my friends. Yeah, it's going to
cheers.
be an active one, and then we're partying all night. It's going to be a big night.
And
DJ
the schmooze.
set. Yeah, we got a nice DJ set, all Halloween themed stuff. It's going to be fun.
And the schmooze. All right. Thanks, Kenny.
Later, guys.
Adios.
Oh, boy.
So that's Kenny Glick in the house, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I love about Kenny is that he's looking at names like Philip Morris, Eli Lilly, Starbucks. I mean, these stocks, like I wouldn't touch any of these things in my time horizon, but they could present great opportunities intraday. So it doesn't matter the longer term time horizon. Because I look at these longer term charts, they're just messy. Like that Starbucks chart.
I think he'd be the first to tell you he doesn't care about Starbucks either.
Right. Yeah.
For when they report earnings, and then he does care. And same with Merck. It's like Kenny's not going to trade Merck at every other day, but today or yesterday, right? Whatever they reported, right? It's all right. Let's bring on we got Jeff Macke in the house. And but Jeff, before I bring you on, can you just turn your phone sideways? Because right now there we go, looking good. Okay. Jeff I feel like it's always like just super busy for Jeffland because in Jeffland because we don't just have earnings, we have like there's all these things happening with the consumer, and he was talking yesterday about the effects of the government shutdown and how that could trickle down to like Walmart. So there's always a lot of things happening in consumer land, which is the land that Jeff lives in. So let's bring him out and let's see what's on his mind. Let's see what he's maybe buying or selling or holding this week, and who's ready for it?
Yo, Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr. Macke.
Mr. Macke, this Amazon's about to make new all-time highs, I think.
Yeah, it's been teasing all-time highs for about the last year or so. It's been kind of a surly bastard. I'm pretty worried that they're
Hold
going to
on,
come out and say we're
it's kind of a
spending.
what? A surly
It,
bastard?
it's making me surly, man. It won't break out. We had a fake breakout in Walmart a couple weeks ago. We got Amazon always threatening to make all-time highs, but they're going to come out and say the same damn thing that every tech company is, which is we are just putting dump trucks full of money into AI. The consumer's kind of squishy, and earnings are going to take a hit as a result. I don't expect margins to be great. This is more of a reaction story. The numbers will be good. You look at Amazon though, for the last 5 years, it is getting boot stomped by the S&P 500. That doesn't happen to Amazon very often. And so we're either getting old as a company or we're coiling like a spring. I'm long. I feel a little trapped long, but it's just one of those names that in my world, you kind of have to own the best retailer on earth because you feel like kind of an ass if you don't. I love what Kenny was saying about Starbucks. Let me give you a tale of two companies. Chipotle and Starbucks. They both reported last night and they had a lot to say about the consumer. Not a ton of it was really great. But I love that Starbucks, just a quick and dead trade. I've been hitting them, did Mattel last week, did Hasbro last week, just really fast overreactions to the downside on some of these more staged stories. Starbucks never promised you a rose garden. They know they're a mess. They're trying to fix it. Chipotle came out and gave just this dissertation on how burrito sales are correlated at 1.0 with like the nation's mood, which is holy crap. Do you not want to hear that from the CEO of your company? It's if the country's surly, then sell cheaper burritos, dumbass. They went out and so that's down for a good reason. I would not touch that either as a food group because I don't need a 14-pound bowl of junk for $30. And Ozempic Nation, who does? I think that's one of the things they're missing out. But Starbucks, they kind of never promised you a rose garden. The CEO and the former Chipotle CEO, he's working a turnaround. He's got a plan. Chipotle doesn't even know they're broken, which is really disheartening for investors. You're seeing both those stocks back right near kind of Liberation Day lows. If either of them's in trouble, it's going to be Chipotle. They're going to have a harder time holding any bounce. Starbucks is doing what they told you they would do, which is, being pretty honest about, listen, we have too many Starbucks. We got to close a few of these. If you drop a cup of Starbucks in Manhattan, the spillage actually goes down the street and hits another Starbucks. You shouldn't walk out the door and see, your own restaurant right next door. They got too many of them. So they got to shut them down. And it's going to take a while. That's why the chart is sloppy. As I always say, JC, when the fundamentals, the technicals line up like this, it's telling you a story. And Starbucks is telling you a story of a turnaround. Chipotle is telling you a story of, holy crap, maybe burritos aren't going to become a food staple in the U.S. forever.
Well, let me tell you something, Mackie. I've been hanging out with you more and more, and I'm thinking a lot more like you these days, and I just can't help myself. You're really having an impact on just my days. So, funny you said that they're shutting down the store because they opened up a Starbucks by my house, and then they closed simultaneously or just after the Starbucks that was inside the grocery store, the Giant that we go to. And my kids were totally bummed out because we used to go and get them. They like the cake pops, it's like a little popsicle, but it's like a little cake. So we used to go and give it to them, and they're like, Daddy, why did they take out the cake pops? I'm like, board of directors, kid, this is what you got to do.
Because they get a nice, better cut out of it not operating inside someone else's store is why they shut down the cake pop.
So they were like maybe like a couple blocks away, so they shut it down. So that's like real life impact that, I'm noticing. I got another one for you, Mr. Mackie. Throw up slide 3. I've noticed that the packages that come to my house, which is a daily occurrence, I'm seeing more and more Walmart packages. Okay.
Right.
And I asked my wife, I was like, yo, why are you ordering so much Walmart shit? Because I know it's not me. Like the Amazon stuff could be me, right? But I don't know how to order anything on Amazon. I've never done that. So I know it's her. And she's like, because it's same day delivery.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
They're 95% of the country lives within 10 miles of a Walmart, which is just one of those dork stats. Is that
true? 95% of the country lives.
Not coming here to lie to you. Yeah, of course it's true. That gives them a huge distribution advantage. That footprint is so enormous, and Walmart has the financial wherewithal to get to one-day delivery. They're finally catching up. That's why that stock, we got the fake breakout when they announced that they were doing it with AI.
It's pretty nasty.
So brutal. So brutal. And that's just government shutdown stuff. When you work the number, 25% of all those SNAP benefits get spent at Walmart, which is a crazy stat. It sounds worse than it is. I've done some pencil work with it and got the whirligig and the abacus going. It's only about 1-2 cents of earnings impact if you really maximize it, if you say that this revenue goes no place. But it's a headwind, and it for sure matters. And so you just get this constant news flow. But that's another one. It just hasn't been able to get over 110 and stay there. And it's been a frustrating slog. It's kind of an expensive consumer name. Not really doing anything wrong. In fact, doing a lot of the right stuff. But it just refuses to turn.
Jeff, I wanted to show you, throw up the new slide 4, which is the consumer discretionary relative to consumer staples making new all-time highs. I got to tell you something. You or otherwise, you and your consumer stuff, talking about how important it is. Before you, I always looked at this chart as one of the best, most reliable risk-on, risk-off indicators in all of markets. Like before I even knew you, right? This goes way back to old school JC, right? But now that I'm talking to you a lot more and, like I'm understanding you and like I see it in my own life, like I can't help myself now. Like, I'm seeing this making new all-time highs on a relative basis. So there's a couple of things going on here. Amazon, Tesla, look like both of them are about to break out to new all-time highs. So that's the numerator. In the denominator, you got Walmart, you got Costco, you got Procter & Gamble, right? So you got the consumer staples as the denominator. And if you go to the next chart quickly, you'll see that consumer staples on a relative basis are making all-time lows, which again, for me, old school, this goes back forever for me. This is, as one of the great risk-on, risk-off indicators, because you can argue utilities have a defensive tilt. Healthcare might have a defensive tilt, but these are the defensives, right? These are, so like there's no argument here. So when I see that, so these to combine for me are evidence of risk appetite. They are evidence of a healthy market environment. Do you look at it that way from a consumer standpoint? Like, how do you think about this?
I look at it that way from a consumer standpoint. It also speaks to what I was talking about before, where you have this kind of bifurcated economy where the higher end is doing well and you're able to kind of get some traction and get some action. If you're, Tesla, Amazon, those are a little bit fancier, a little bit more upscale. But the Costco's of the world, the Staples of the world, those are disproportionately impacted by stuff like government shutdowns. That's going to impact your Staples group. That's going to impact that just anything defensive kind of as a nut. It's lower margin by definition. It's going to be just kind of a better base case for what's going on at the lower end on the consumer side. And you're right, man. It's the land of no love whatsoever this year, for Amazon, Walmart, Costco, great companies, and they've kind of had lost years as far as being stocks goes.
But throw up slide 2. This doesn't look bad, Jeff. I mean, look at slide 2. Let's zoom out, right? Like I understand it's been underperforming some of those other big names. Now, Amazon technically is not a tech stock; it's a consumer discretionary stock. So comparing it to some of those tech stocks, a little disingenuous to me because I understand the way asset allocation works, but forget all that. This doesn't look bad, Jeff.
Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, I'm long Tesla, I'm long Amazon. I would
Does
love
that look
to
bad?
work. No, it looks great to me.
The
But
Tesla chart while we're at it. If he wants to look at Tesla slide 10 there, throw up the Tesla chart. Doesn't look bad either.
And they don't. And you're exactly right. But again, this is going to be what Amazon is kind of, they do so many different things that it's discretionary or it's staple or it's defensive. It is whatever kind of the story wants it to be. If that stock comes out tonight, they're going to say that retail sales, as far as they're concerned, are pretty good. But they're also going to say again that they're spending a dump truck full of money, just like Google, just like Facebook, or Meta, whatever the hell. And are we going to fall in love with that narrative? So that's going to be kind of an issue. It's an interesting kind of ink blot test for how the market's going to react. How much appetite do we actually have for these tech companies continuing to spend? Now, that's a little bit of a narrative kind of circle jerk, if you will. It doesn't give you to a great investment conclusion. But Amazon, you still just have to be long. Tesla, they're going to give Elon $1 trillion. People whine about it, they'll whimper about it, but he's going to come up with good ideas and he's going to make the company just kind of work through a cult of personality or whatever. Jassy still has to find his groove at Amazon, though. The jockey matters in these horse races, JC, and you kind of need to see him be a little bit more Wall Street friendly at Amazon and get those shares moving again. Not a cheap stock, but it'll be an interesting story tonight.
Jeff, I got a fun fact for everybody today. Fun fact.
Lay it on me.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Tesla is a nose hair away from being the largest component of the consumer discretionary sector.
It might be a function of the sector needing some redefinition. That is a fun fact and a weird fact and a good bar bet. You know, man, it's I bet you
I
could
mean, I
go out
watched
some,
these things, as you
yeah.
know, Jeff, and it was like 12, 13%. Then it was like 17, 18%. Now Tesla's over 20%. Amazon's 21. So officially, Amazon is 21.2% of the consumer discretionary, down from like 24, 25. And Tesla is at 20.6. So it's about 60 basis points away from being the biggest consumer discretionary stock.
Which is awful expensive for kind of a robo-taxi company that has a little side hustle. There's electronic cars, and it's basically kind of a cult of personality. You know, that's a story that honestly I try to ignore and just keep the little Tesla that I have in my personal account, just because if I start thinking about it too much, smoke starts coming out of my ears.
I mean, for a little cult, I mean, it's a $1.5 trillion little cult. So, and
it's a good cult. You know, that's all the best organizations start as little cults, and then they grow from there. So, you know, it's you kind of just got to hold your nose and stay long. And
if you're not long Tesla, if you don't have at least 3% of your portfolio in Tesla, you're essentially short a company that could be the biggest company in the world in a very short period of time. Like, that to me is how I think about it. I don't know anything about space or electric vehicles or AI. I don't know anything about any of those things, but I do know that this stock went up 3,000% from 80 billion to 1.3 trillion, then consolidated for several years. And if that son of a bitch breaks out, you're going to expect to see, in my experience, a similar move. I'm not saying that Tesla's going to go up 3,000% from here, but just a fraction of that turns this into the largest company in the world. And if you don't have at least 3% of your portfolio in it, I think you're short and you're crazy. But that's just me.
And that's good marital advice too, JC. We've already mentioned the wives a couple times. You and I are both influenced by the spouses. That thing goes to all-time highs. You know what's going to happen? They're going to talk about it on TV. They're going to talk about it on the radio, and I'm going to hear it at home. Why don't we own more Tesla? Hey, do we own Tesla, honey? Do we own Tesla, honey? And you know what? I'm not going to tell my wife, no, we don't own it, because I think it's too big a component of the discretionary sector, and it just seems like kind of a cult to me. Shut up and buy it. Just, marital advice from me to you. It's a
it reminds me of that. There's like that meme that goes around that it's like, the hot mom with like the kids dressed all nice, and it's like, mommy, why are we so rich? And it's because daddy hodled BTC or whatever,
Totally. Yeah. It's kind of that, it's, I get that a lot with Tesla is a favorite of Mrs. Mackey's. We never own enough.
Is that true? My wife hates it. She's like, those are the ugliest cars ever. Like, that truck is so ugly. Doesn't even have a color.
But again, these are the joys of matrimony, man. My wife will say the same thing and then rail on me for not having enough of this stock. That's the ugliest damn Cybertruck. We got like a Cybertruck dealer down the street. He has 4 of them in his house. It's a big, fancy house. And it's honestly an eyesore. And so I'll get the same lecture on the same, like blocks. Those are terrible looking cars. Why don't we own more of the stock? And you just say, you know what, honey, I'll look into it. We'll buy some tomorrow.
Nice.
Jeff Macke, guys, the link was up on the screen. Get his portfolio, find out what he owns, what he adds, what he removes every single week. And no one understands consumer companies quite like Jeff. So seriously,
love it. I love all of this. This is great.
He taught us all so much about how to like. It's not what they say. It's also how they say it, right? and when
it's a little bit of a vibe, man. You gotta marry the whole thing, the technicals and the story the management tells.
I'm observing. I was sending pictures to Macke from the mall the other day, right? I was at the mall.
Yeah. You're giving me mall updates.
I should have done that. I was telling you,
I had to get a suit. And then the Ferragamo store was on the complete opposite end of King of Prussia, which is like the biggest mall freaking ever. I got a hell of a workout that day.
Man.
And then they tailored it, so I had to go back to the other side, pick up the damn suit, and then I was parked over by the Ferragamo.
Brutal. Tough life.
Yeah, we've got the hottest movie this summer, this Christmas rather, is a little trip to the mall. They call it a trip to the mall, and we took a journey to the mall with our old friend Herb Greenberg, Sean, and I, and we found Sean a little Canadian tuxedo. It was a delightful thing.
He was wearing part of that tuxedo in Vegas. I was with him last week. 2 weeks ago. When was I in Vegas? Recently.
Who knows? It stays there, but if you could talk about it, I bet he looked damn sharp.
He looked good. We were eating sushi. It was lovely.
Jeff, we'll let you run. Thanks for coming on, man.
Vegas is on fire, by the way. Speaking of the consumer, Macke, I don't know. There's no recession going on in Vegas. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that might be biased by you being there, JC. Wherever you are, that's where the party is. You guys have a great day.
That's right.
Adios.
Truer words never been spoken. Real fast.
Not in Vegas. I am a nobody in Vegas, dude. I got nothing.
I know we have Sean here. Before we bring you on, real fast, can we did we have the charts of Meta or Alphabet or Microsoft handy? Can we just bring a couple up real fast?
All the reports were good. If Meta gets back above what do I have written here? 690. I'm buying it today. Adding some for the long term. And I thought Microsoft was fantastic. So if that stock can't react higher on it, it's almost a little bit strange. And Google, as a reminder, we have some charts too. Throw up the Google relative. Google, just to remind everyone, I don't know, last year, missed AI. Google, more than any other Mag 7, stood to lose from AI, right? Google was going to be the loser. I can't hear you, Spencer. Stock was trading at like 12 times earnings. No, but it was trading at a ridiculous multiple relative to its peers. Google is now the best of all of the Mag 7s. This is the one that they told you was going to lose in this AI revolution. It's the best fucking one. And here it is breaking out to new all-time highs versus the NASDAQ 100. Love to see it. Shout out Google.
Also on the Google, remember we talked about earlier this week or late last week, I forget, about that 261.8% extension of that 21 to 22 low. That comes in at 263. We jumped right over that. Jumped right over that.
Has been a madman.
You know how I feel about jumping fibs. You know, when they jump the fibs, you know, as somebody who never had, you know, I was vertically challenged. Like I was never able to jump high. Like I would jump and people were like, you know, did he even get off the ground? Right. That's how I was. Still am. So I love to see a good jump. When they jump the fibs, that's you know how I feel about that.
When they break out of a massive base versus the single best index of stocks in the world. I mean, incredible. So Google's just been so good. Google's been as good as anything since last year. And I just think it's important to remember the sentiment around this stock when that rally began. So
my biggest thing with these reports is I'm just waiting for the quarter when these companies don't raise their CapEx guidance or don't come in above.
They all raised, by the way.
They all raised it yesterday. Apple and Amazon will probably do the same thing today. I'm just waiting for the quarter. It hasn't happened yet, but one of these times they are going to come in below the estimates on the CapEx expenditure, and then they're going to say, and then they're going to like revise their guidance downward, right, for CapEx spend. Not today. Today is not that day. So
and Nvidia is going to be down 20%. But that wasn't the case at all. And I think also along those lines, the same way you're thinking, they got to keep getting rewarded for good reports. Like I'm really expecting Microsoft, not, you know, a week or 2 weeks from now, but like today and tomorrow and the next day to recover, flip this green, because that report, I mean, it's as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. I don't know what was bad about Meta either, that they're knocking this one down. So if like these sell-offs kind of
tax thing. They had a tax thing.
With the tax stuff. All right.
Dude, I don't know. All right, we got Sean. Let's bring him out and then we'll get out of here, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Shawnee baby.
Hey, it was fun going down memory lane with Macke there, talking about our shopping excursion a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
Dude, how about Chuckettes, C Buckets is talking about how we ran into David Jones. We were eating deli sandwiches with him last week, and then he gets arrested like 48 hours later.
It's our fault.
Dude, I was telling a buddy of mine who's like a cop. He's a local cop. And I was like, dude, I was with David Jones. We were eating deli sandwiches the other day, me and Sean. And he's like, dude, they arrested him 2 days later. They were definitely monitoring your conversation.
No, I was just going to say that. Like, I'll bet you we're like on some radar now because they have pictures of us hanging out with them late at night. It's like, ooh, something shady must have been going down. But no, we were just eating deli sandwiches.
Yeah, I don't even gamble because I don't suck at math, right? So I don't gamble, you see.
Well, hey, welcome FBI. Welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, by the way, true. Shout out to the FBI if you're watching. Hopefully we can help you make some decisions on the marketplace.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not going to find anything here. We're just very boring traders. Sorry, but maybe you'll learn something. If you're the FBI and they're making you watch us to see what kind of shady shit we're up to, consider yourself lucky because I think you'll probably learn something. So
we've got no insight on who's going to sit out the 76ers game tonight. We have no idea. We have no idea.
I didn't even know the 76ers were playing.
JC, maybe in hindsight, you shouldn't have started the show by making fun of Ron DeSantis. Maybe just in hindsight.
Yeah.
I was just pointing
Wasn't
to
the best.
First of all, I didn't know his name was Ron. Second of all, I was just pointing to the fact that he's talking about market breadth. And you know how I feel about politicians that are randomly making things up about things they know nothing about. And I like to use that to my advantage. So I've never met the guy. I'm sure he loves his kids. I don't even know.
Hey, one thing I was thinking about while you and Strazza were just riffing right before I came on about these Mag 7s is that I don't think that the marketplace, or let's just say the average investor, I don't think the average investor can wrap their head around the idea that the Mag 7 just might absolutely rip faces from now until the end of the year. We've been talking about the potential for a face ripping rally into the end of the year, but now it's starting to become pretty clear to me that it's probably going to be led by the biggest caps in the space, because that's where the biggest chasers right now, which are the hedge fund managers and the, those types who are chasing performance right now, that's where they're going to get the liquidity. And so as cool as it is to think that they're going to be buying robot names and AI and all this stuff, they need liquidity. And right now, the way some of these stocks are setting up, some of these big caps like Tesla and Microsoft and Nvidia, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get that itchy feeling that that's where this face ripper is really going to be concentrated.
I'm going to push back on you again. Not you, but Strazza's telling me the same thing. I don't, and DeSantis, this Ron guy, it's not mega cap tech. It's not the mags. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Sean. I think you're just being very narrow-minded, and so is Strazza. I think it's tech, not mega cap tech. Tech. Palantir is not a Mag 7 making all-time highs.
No, but it's going to be
all kinds of software stocks making all-time highs, semiconductors making all-time highs, small cap technology, for the record, making all-time highs yesterday, has been outperforming large cap tech, which you can argue is mega. So small cap tech outperforming mega cap tech for 3 months. It's not the megas. It's tech.
Okay. I just think it's going to be the larger cap names. Maybe not necessarily those 7. But
if it becomes the larger cap names, then it would have to change what is currently happening. Those larger cap names have been underperforming the small cap tech. So if you're right, it would be something new that would have to start to happen that has yet to begin, just for the record.
Well, as they say,
I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's not what's happening.
As they say, this is why they play the game. So we'll see what transpires. But
I don't fucking know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you.
I think we both end up, what was funny, JC, is we both might end up being right.
Well, I'm not saying that those mega cap tech stocks aren't going to go up. I'm just saying it's not just those. It's tech. It's not just mega cap tech. It's tech.
Yeah. Well, either way, whichever sector it is, I just don't feel like the average investor can wrap their mind around the fact that we may have a face ripper into the end of the year. I don't think anyone other than people like you and I who have our heads in the weeds in this stuff, the average investor who's watching the news every night, I don't think they can comprehend that as even a possibility right now.
Well, you've got Barron's telling people that it's time to go defensive. You've got DeSantis talking about weak market breadth. You can't make this shit up, dude. Never.
I hate to pick on the guy because you've done it. You've done it enough. But the Tim Waltz guy with the Tesla thing, I mean, that's just an all timer. That's an all timer. Well
Spencer
done.
thought I was crazy.
No, and you nailed it right up. You nailed it right at the beginning. I remember you nailed it right at the beginning when that news came out. You're like, we got to buy this thing. We got to buy it. I remember.
Well, I was already long, for the record. I had just gotten long like 3 days earlier, and then I saw that. I was like, oh, we got to buy more. So I was already in. So it's not like I'm randomly buying it because Tim Wallace is like, dancing on stage.
I really enjoy, and I know Spencer enjoys this too. I really enjoy when JC gets the names wrong, and it feels like he's innocent about it, but I know he's doing it deliberately. I love it.
What's his name?
Like I said,
it's not
he'll
Tim?
get your first name right or your last name right. He will not get both your names right. Okay. Let's skedaddle. Here's the plan. Okay, we've got JC and Steve are going to go live right in a few minutes from now, and they'll do some live trading, and they'll just kind of hang out and shoot the shit for a few minutes. That's going to happen at 11 o'clock. Kenny will be live. Also, if you remember Breakout Multiplier, your weekly video of what happened then as well. At 2 o'clock, the Gold Rush is going live. At 3 o'clock, Sean's going live. At 3:30, Kenny's going live. At 4 o'clock, Louie's going live. It's busy afternoon here on busy day on the channel. So thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you, Sean and Jeff and Kenny and chat. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't do anything. The stream will automatically redirect to the open bar starting in a few minutes. If you're watching us on Twitter, just refresh your page, and stockmarkettv.com, same thing. And that's how you'll get there. So any final thoughts, anyone, before we go?
I think that investors need to count. All these fucking people spend their entire careers trying to build some magic algorithm just so that they don't have to count. Just fucking count. I don't understand. Just count. Put some music on, have a glass of wine, tea, water, don't matter. Some good music and just count. 1, 2, 3. It's not that hard.
This is also what JC pounds at the dinner table with his kids every night. Love it. Love it.
That's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.
Go make some money.
Run it.